class. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. As usual, we begin with a very big smile. Are you all there? Okay. It doesn't matter to me if you all are not following online because this is not practical. This is theory. So you can, yeah, you can come in any time and you can see news. I hope you are seeing. Good morning, Sepide. Good morning. Yeah. I'm going to talk to you about conflicts today. All right. So here goes. Sorry. Yeah. Good morning, Honapa. Once again. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about conflicts and conflict management. All right. I'm having a little difficulty. I'm not really sure of how to operate my Macman. Okay, here it is. Let me just check. Yeah. Anyone else? Happy morning to all of you. Yeah. Initially, when your classmates or the juniors, especially Prashant, used to say happy morning, used to feel a little odd. But now I realize the spirit in which it is said, it's so beautiful. Yeah? Okay. I will start now. I'm going to talk to you about Gangadhar. Good morning. Yeah. I'm going to talk to you about conflict management. All right. What are conflicts? See, conflicts are natural in daily walks of life, okay? Both at workplace, or home, and all that. It's very, everybody doesn't think in the same way, isn't it? Sometimes, everywhere, every time, everywhere we come across conflicts because no two people think the same thing, no two people want the same thing, and something like this. Conflicts occur all the time. Whether you take it as seriously as a conflict or you take it lightly that depends on you, and that is why we need to talk about conflicts. We need to create the awareness among all of us that conflicts can happen and how we can make them simpler. When do conflicts happen? See, everybody wants something. We go to a shop with a purpose, and then imagine there are there are two other people in the shop. So you patiently wait for your turn, and just before you imagine there are two outlets for the same shop. Two people are in one outlet and you are in the other outlet. You're waiting for the two people to be served, and then you are the third person. Suddenly what happens is someone comes and then somehow manages the before you can it is your turn, but then somebody who came after you is suddenly being served, and then you said no, that's not happening, isn't it? Now, the reason for the conflict is the fourth person who had no good sense, no civic sense of waiting in a queue, isn't it? Many of us, when we go and wait in a queue, there are people who push forward in a queue. There are, I have the funny, you know, some ladies, for example, they go and ask a man in front, can I stand here? And the man is embarrassed. He says, okay. But then the other people behind him are not all right with it. So something like this. It depends on how that's just what many people want different things, and that is why when they do not get what they want, it leads to a conflict. Sometimes even the aggression of people is not understood by themselves. It could be a medical condition like hypertension, which makes people get angry, or sometimes it's just that the nature by nature is aggressive, and the other person is not aggressive. So in a work situation we come across several issues like this. Because see, imagine a situation in an office where you are in an MNC. You have various cultures. Someone eats non-veg, someone doesn't eat non-veg. Someone's food, the smell of the food doesn't agree with someone else. So there are various things like this. What someone considers a delicacy may not be someone's, someone may not like at all. Even the look of it someone doesn't like, and the other community likes it very much, or culture or subcultures or geographical regions. All this determines what we eat, how we dress, etc., etc. So all this, imagine a diverse culture. That is why we say diversity management. How a diverse culture in an organization can create conflicts. Okay, so we have to first of all why understand why conflict, so that we can train ourselves to understand that such a such a type of conflict can arise. And we have to this one we have to manage them. So conflict is a process where perception leads to disruption of desirable state of harmony and stability in an interdependent world. Let us remember that we are living in an interdependent world, and there's a desirable state of harmony and stability. But when we perceive that this harmony is not going to happen, like I'm waiting in a shop to be served and someone behind me is served. See, many times I have this experience of not when it happens in some places, especially when the petrol bunks are not overloaded. See, when the petrol bunks of have a particular, if the petrol bunks, they have ordered, they have organized a particular way to go, like a particular queue, system of queue. As you enter only, you get into a queue, and you don't jump the queue, then it becomes simple. But sometimes the organization itself doesn't, the petrol bunk doesn't have the system of a queue. So what happens is, you're waiting, there's a scooter guy who's filling petrol, and then it is your turn. But before you can take your car forward, there's another bike or something that comes in front, and they say, just 1 minute ma'am, let me fill. See, it is not fair, isn't it? Then that kind of harmony is disrupted, and when this harmony is disrupted, then conflicts can arise. Okay, see, let us understand. If you need class, you can make notes. Characteristics of conflict. Let us remember that conflict is a process. Conflict, they say, I read an article which says conflict occurs in layers. The first layer is misunderstanding. Okay, now there are differences of values, of viewpoint, interest, interpersonal differences. Now, what happens is, excuse me for a minute, I need to close the door. Okay, now here we are. The first layer is misunderstanding. Okay, as you are able to understand that when the misunderstanding is cleared, you don't have to worry. The conflict is avoided. But if the misunderstanding is not cleared, then it becomes a problem. It goes to a bigger issue of conflict resolution. Otherwise, it can be just collaborating, compromising, or avoiding, or some such thing. Then remember one more thing. The second characteristic is inevitability of conflict. See, because we are different, not all of us are same, not all of us think same, or even if you're twins, there are differences of opinion. Many such things happen. So each one of us may see, in a class I was telling you, if I were to offer breakfast, okay, Each one of you us would want a different thing. Someone would say idli vada, someone would say chapati, someone would say parota, someone would say bread and jam. So each one would want something else, isn't it? This is diversity of culture, and that is why the diversity of opinions. Excuse me. See, simple ideas like pronunciation of names, all these also can create conflicts. So, conflicts are inevitable. All right. Some people just cannot pronounce particular words, and then we get irritated. You cannot even pronounce my name. That's how it goes. Okay. So, conflicts are inevitable. That is what we have to remember. And next, see, uh, conflict is and having a conflict is good, because if you're open about it and say yes, there is a problem, this is the problem, let us solve it, it is better. So the first part of the first layer of conflict, misunderstanding, you should understand why are we going through all this conflict, why am I talking to you about conflicts in international business, because you should understand that conflicts can happen, conflicts are inevitable. You shouldn't get worried that there is a conflict. And what you should do is you must try and, at the first layer of misunderstanding, try and do away with the conflict. And then please remember one more characteristic of conflict is that conflicts are part of life. Okay, incompatibility of two people, we may be the best of friends, but we may want different things. And then you must remember, the another characteristics is perception, how each of us perceive a particular situation. All right, each of us looks at a particular situation in a different way, right? Many times we are given exercises in our organizational behavior class about how each one perceives something differently. All right. See, we Indians like chapatis very much. I remember when a group of Americans came to Mysore at that time, and then they were offered, like my sister was asking them, what would you like to have for breakfast? Would it be chapati? Because they said, please, no chapati, we would like bread. Now, in our understanding, my sister and I looked at each other. Why? We said, in our understanding, we thought the Americans who came wanted to eat our type of food. But what the Americans said is, we are here from 10 days and every day we are eating chapati. Makes us want for some bread, so that we get some kind of comfort. They were comfortable with eating bread. So the perceiving, what we perceived that they want and they perceived that they want, were two different things. This is an example of how perception, okay, it affects our behavior, attitudes, and communication, the way we perceive things. Okay. Then, opposition. One party to the conflict must be perceiving or doing something the other party does not like or want. See, some of us have the habit of making fun of, see, someone is calling someone fatty, and all of us get into the habit of calling that person fatty without thinking that it is offending that person's feeling. Okay, so something like this, force of habit, or the way with the way you see. It could be someone has, we have this squint eye, so suppose he's looking there, you feel you're looking that side. So, and then I suppose I'm talking to that person and I'm saying, why aren't you looking at me when I talk? Why are you looking that side? It could be, so simple things like this, still we get to understand. And again, I'm reiterating why I'm talking about conflicts is that we have to understand that conflicts do happen. It's not because of me that happens. And even if it happens because of me, how I can repair, my attitude or my perception, something like this. Okay. Then interdependence and interaction. See, all of us are dependent on each other. Without interdependence, there can be no interaction. So, when interaction happens, only some kind of conflict takes place, isn't it? See, you are going to the city, for example, from my house. There are 20 of us who have to use the same road. All of us have to go through that road, maybe to MG Road, to maybe to Majestic, maybe. to Jayanagar, but all of us have to use the same road. And then when you use the same road, all the vehicles cannot go together. Someone has to go in front, someone has to go at the back. Someone who goes behind may not like the idea that, oh, my neighbor is going ahead of me. Something like this. You must have seen cars, competing. Why I have a bigger car? I have a better car. Why can't I be in front? Why should that person be in front? Why should autos overtake me? Something like this, everyone. And conflict is inflicted upon everyone, whether it is in individuals or groups or organization. And conflict is not unidimensional. Okay, both sometimes no, it comes into different ways and according to the degree of seriousness and capacity. And it's not that, see, you need two hands to clap, so it is not unidimensional. Okay, now how do we manage conflicts? I have a statement here which I have to read. Conflict management is the principle that all conflicts cannot be necessary, necessarily resolved. See, conflict management, I'll repeat, is because of the understanding that everyone of us understand that all conflicts cannot be necessarily resolved. But we have to learn how to manage conflicts so that, when we are fighting or we are arguing or we are unhappy or we are upset, and this affects our work. It should not happen. That is why conflict management. So, once again, conflict management is because, first of all, the understanding that conflicts do happen, and secondly, by the letting the conflict affects us, either our attitude or behavior or our argument, etc. By indulging in the effects of bad effects of conflict, it should not affect our productivity. That is why we have conflict management. Conflict management involves acquiring skills related to conflict resolution. 1 minute. You have to acquire skills for conflict resolutions. First of all, awareness about conflict modes, how the conflict can arise, you have to be aware. Conflict management skills and establishing a structure for management of conflict in the environment of the company. All members of every organization need to have ways of keeping conflict to a minimum. Why? Because you cannot waste time solving the problem. All right, you do not have time to be upset about the problem, you do not have time, so you have to understand that. Then we'll talk about types of conflict. One is conflicts may be, first one may be intrapersonal. Intra means within ourselves. See, it's a there's a funny thing that is said. I think in Canada, they say uh, the wife scolds the husband. Okay, for something. So this husband goes to work. He scolds his the junior scolds his junior. His junior scolds his family member. His family member scolds the young son. Now the son doesn't know what to do, so he goes and gives the dog a kick. It seems, poor little dog. So the dog doesn't know what to do. He'll go and bark at the other people. You have to let out your frustration. So conflict can be leading to a long chain. All right, it can create a domino effect. Like you push one block standing up, and then all the blocks will fall. The domino blocks will fall. So it can create a domino effect. It can create unhappiness, and unhappiness and another thing. We are not here talking about unhappiness. We are here talking about productivity. So it can lead to the affecting the productivity of a line of people. All right. If the boss is angry, the whole office is afraid. They are afraid to work properly. For example, if the boss has come in the morning and he has shouted around and then gone to work, the productive day of the whole office is spoiled. So the boss has to learn how to manage the conflicts he has in an effective way, that it doesn't happen to others. So first one is intrapersonal, fights within the self. Okay. Second is interpersonal. We have here heard Ma'am, I don't mind working, but I don't want to work with that person. Do you mind if I work? Okay, I can understand that if you tell that I'm more comfortable with Miss or Mr. A, I'm not, okay, fine. But I don't want to work with that other person at all is not something that's can be acceptable. And then sometimes first of all, I told you conflicts can be intrapersonal within the self, interpersonal between two people, and organizational. Now, even in organization, now it can be intra-organizational within the organization or between two organizations. Okay, so this conflict can happen like this. Okay, for example, when there is competition, I don't think we can call such a competing organization as conflicting organizations. Okay, but when the more I like to talk about conflicts in the uh, field where when you need to have negotiations and solve it, because I talked about negotiations. So when you can do negotiations within the organization, between organizations, so those kind of conflicts are what we have to really look into. Okay, interpersonal, etc. So see, one thing is in interpersonal conflict can be intergroup and intergroup conflict or intra-group conflict within a group or between the two groups. All right, will not go much into all that. Then conflicts can be substantive and effective. It could be conflicts could be like when you say substantive, SUBTANTIVE. Substantive conflicts may be over the facts of a situation, the means or the methods of achieving a solution to the problem, ends or goals, and values. Sometimes, see, two people may go for the same job, and one person says, I'll do it this way, but the other person says, no, I'll do it that way. So that, but both of them agree that we have to do this thing. We don't agree on how to do it. All right. So this is substantive conflicts. And then you have procedural conflicts. You understand that unresolved, so how are we going to do this procedure, that procedure, etc. So when the all in all, both these types of conflicts, no, when there is a project and the project has to be done, it has to be effective and it has to be done in time. When you have unresolved conflicts, all this, then the work will not get done at all. So conflicts need to be, managed properly. All right. Conflicts can be, constructive and destructive also, positive and negative also. I'll give you notes on what I have about conflicts. Okay. There can be distributive conflict. For example, a distributive conflict is distribution of a fixed amount of positive outcomes or resources. Like I said, I win, you lose. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to agree that, oh, I'm a happy loser, you can win, I agree to lose. It doesn't happen all the time. Or it's not fair that it happens. So you win some, I win some, you lose some, I lose some. That would be the best way. There is integrative conflicts also. Sometimes conflicts can be competitive and cooperative. All right. So when competition is there about some market share or something, there can be conflicts too, because you see many times people go to court and to resolve conflicts, etc. But all in all, why we are talking of why we are talking of all this is, see, I don't want to take a long class because I don't we have taken a lot of classes. I just want to stop now. I just want to tell you that there is a particular reason why we do a conflict management. Okay, once again, I've been okay. Uh, Gangadhar, good morning. Ravish, good morning. Fawad, good morning. My sister's late relatives. Okay, Wahidullah, Shubhakar, Wahidullah. Good morning, Sridevi. Good morning, Baryale. Now, I've spoken to you very shortly about what are the conflicts that you have to understand these things. First of all, conflicts are inevitable. All right, conflicts, you cannot avoid them. It's not because I'm like this, I'm creating conflicts. No, you're not Sheldon. You know who's Sheldon, no? From that, yeah, Big Bang Theory. So you cannot be Sheldon. You're not Sheldon to create conflicts all the time. Even he has his good points. So there are some weaknesses or something like that, but that cannot say I'm the reason. No, many times it's not, excuse me, personal reasons that can lead to a conflict. It could be what we want, not that how we are. So conflicts are inevitable. You have to have conflicts in life. Everyone cannot give the same opinion about what it is. Okay, for example, my sister and I, we discuss. I ask her, she's my elder sister, Doreen. So I ask her, how do see mummies to cook like this? Can you tell me? And then she'll tell me something, and then say, do you think this will be better? And I'll say, and then she'll say, maybe, yeah, no, 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 not like that. Do like this. Simple things, but there's a difference of opinion. Though she's my elder sister, I ask her, can I do like this? And then she'll say, why not like this? So, like this. No two people think the same way. We are sisters, same father, same mother, brought up in the same house, but still we have our opinion. So, imagine how it happens when you go neighbor to neighbor, or in the office where someone has come from Delhi and someone has come from Coimbatore, for example. Coimbatore person thinks differently, Delhi person thinks differently, Delhi person, the everything is different, isn't it? And then thought processes, the culture, everything is different. So all in all, please understand that conflicts are not because of a particular person or anything like that. If it happens because of a particular person, then we have to take, that's a different story. But please remember, conflicts are unavoidable. So, conflicts, you have to learn to understand, accept that conflicts happen. The first thing you have to understand as MBAs, and especially in international business, see, I was telling you, between sisters, we have so many different differences of opinion. How about between people from different countries? How they feel about a particular situation? All right. I remember, I'll tell you about, how, for example, what is someone's opinion about a particular incident that happens. Hmm? Someone may say, oh, well, good, it should happen. Someone will say, no, you cannot, that such a thing cannot happen. You cannot be cruel. You remember the story of the elephant who died in standing in the pond. None of us know the real story till today. But then each one of us had to say, oh, villagers were right, it is their livelihood. But then others said, how can you be so cruel? And then it so happened that villagers had not done it at all. So there are so many opinions. Each one of us is entitled. It's a free country. We are entitled to our opinions, isn't it? That's why we Indians are a democracy. But what I'm saying, the first is accept that conflicts do happen, and then secondly, accept that, understand why the conflict happened. Learn to understand why the conflict happened. And third, as I said, conflicts happen in layers. So the first layer is misunderstanding. Please understand and create there. I want to tell you a small story that I read yesterday on internet, and or Facebook or something. And this story goes like this. Okay, it is about misunderstandings also, and it's like this. There is a young couple who's married for a few months, and then the husband says, see, if I work here, you can manage the farm. If I work here on this farm, we will not be able to get money, and we badly need money. So I will go away, and I will try and get a job, and I'll come back later. So both of them promise that they will be faithful to each other, they love each other very much, and the husband leaves. So he leaves, he goes to another place and a farm which is far away, and he gets a job. And he works there for a several number of years. The condition being, you don't give me my salary, I just live with you. And when I want to leave, you give me all my salary in one sum. So suddenly he decides that he wants to go back, and he tells his boss, I want to go back, please give me my money. So the boss says, see, I can tell you, I'll give you two this thing, options. The first option is, I'll give you some advice. Since you know that I'm a wise man and you've been working with me several years, I'll give you some advice. You can take the advice, but if you take the advice, you won't get your salary. Okay, but if you take the salary, no advice. So this man, no, like he likes his boss, and he's been learning a lot from him about farm practices, etc., etc., which is going to use all this practices once he goes back, and he has learned and all. He's grateful to this man. So he says, "Fine, I'll take the advice." But the fellow says, "If you take the advice, you won't get your salary." He says, "No, no, no, I'll take the advice." So the first advice was, don't take any shortcuts in life. All right. And the second advice was, whenever you see something, don't believe till you really see, okay? Till you understand it. That is, don't misunderstand. The whole thing was, second one is, try not to misunderstand a situation. Take it patiently and understand the situation. So these were the two advices. And then he says, he gives him a couple of buns, and he says, this last bun you're not to open. You have to not to open this packet at all. There is a bun in this you eat with your wife. Okay, the others you eat on your journey. So this man is enjoying his food, coming and all. He meets a person who's also going to the same place, and his hometown. That fellow says, I will take this shortcut. Instead of 20 days, we'll reach in 5 days. They are walking, obviously. So this says, okay, fine, I'll come with you. And then he says, he remembers what his boss says, never take shortcuts in life unless you're not sure either. So he comes back to his own road and he continues. And later he comes to know that the person who had gone there was mugged and perhaps murdered. So that was a bad thing. Okay, who wants to die when you want to go home and meet your family? That's your wife. So he continues and he reaches home. He reaches in the night, and through the window he can see his wife and a young man sitting. The wife is very, just patting the head of the young man. This man says, my wife has not been faithful to me, I'll go and kill them both. But suddenly the advice of the boss, former boss, comes to him and said, don't misunderstand the situation. So he says, I'll calm down, and he sleeps there only. And he says, okay, let me confront her and all that. Next day he goes. The wife is very happy to see him and all that. But he says, no, you're not happy with me because there is someone else in your house. And she says, you know who someone else is? Who someone else is? The other someone is our son. I realized that I was expecting when you left. It's been so many years since you were. See, our son was born and he's grown up so big he is, and this is our son. See what joy to see a child, your own child. And this man, if he was given to his, if he had yielded to his misunderstanding, he would have ended up spoiling his beautiful family. So he's too happy. He's extremely grateful for the advice given to him by his boss, because it saved his life by not taking a shortcut. Secondly, it saved his family because he did not attack them in anger. So they sit down to eat, and he says, "See, this packet I have, my boss told me to open. It contains a bread which I'm supposed to eat with you. So since my boss is such a good man, and here, so they open the bread, and inside the bread is all the money that he had earned for all so many years. So the boss has kept the money inside because boss is also clever. He doesn't want the money which hard earned with hard labor, no, this money to for him to lose. He likes the fellow also. So yes, hidden it inside the bun, though he said, I will not pay you if you take my advice. So here it is. Conflicts are like that. You have to understand, the first layer is misunderstanding, so clear the misunderstanding, and then conflicts are more better understood why the conflicts happen. All right. So when you understand Or see, in our department, for example, when I was head of the department, I was always aware that cultural conflicts, cultural differences could create conflicts. So in the class, I used to tell you all, this is the culture difference, this is what you say, this is the words we use, this is how we understand the situation. I don't know how you all understand the situation. I had tried. So this, in a small way, I'm not saying it was a great attempt, but I was able to see that as long as I was HOD, there was not a single fight in the major fight, that is. I don't know about interpersonal fights among you all. I'm not brought to my notice, but there was no major fight between Indians and non-Indians in our department. I had taken care of that. So what I'm trying to say is, when you're aware that conflicts can happen, conflicts are inevitable, when you're aware how conflicts happen, then what you can do is you can be proactive and try to mitigate the number of conflicts. And even if conflicts do happen, please remember the first layer, it happens in layers. Getting down below the first layer is not at all nice. So the first layer is misunderstanding. You have to wipe off that layer only and have no more layers in a conflict. So because I'll tell you tomorrow what happens. In my next class, I'll tell you, if the misunderstanding goes to a conflict, then what happens. Okay, I'll tell you step by step, then it becomes very difficult. I had a neighbor who, neighbors, one neighbor owned a property where the other neighbor was staying, and they wouldn't leave the property. So from the, I'm talking about 40 years ago, they had been fighting the case for 20 years. When I know, they were they have been fighting the case since for 20 years. Even before I was born, they're fighting the case, and the case went from the local court to the high court to the civil Supreme Court. Land dispute case went to Supreme Court, and in between, both of them were so stubborn. Both of them were individually good families, very good families. My mother, my father were very friendly with both the families, but one was a Muslim family, one was a Christian family. Both of them. If you see, this family had three children, all girls and well brought up, settled very well. Whereas that people had seven children, very well brought up. So something like this. If you see individually, they are extremely good people, but they never sat on the table and discussed. They never sat and discussed. Suppose they were to discuss and say, okay, you give me I don't have money to make a house. You give me some. These people had the money, they were willing to give, but they were not willing to talk to these people. So please remember, conflicts have to be solved at the first layer. Imagine the lawyers must have become very rich, both the lawyers. These people lost money, those people lost money paying the lawyers, and the lawyers lived happily ever after. Not these people. They lost lot of money. So there we are. I just want to say bye. I will talk to you. Hi, Shubha. Yeah. Shubha is my classmate, from 1st to 10th. Yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah. So here we are. I'll stop here about conflicts. I will not take long classes because it's basically a monologue. So I'll come back on Monday. I'm sorry I came late today class. I had a visitor who came over for breakfast, so I did not want to hurry the person up. I was debating whether I should take class or shouldn't take class, but it is my duty to take class. And since I've been taking class from the 25th of March, there has been lot of classes, so I'll take only half an hour to 40 minutes class. I think I have to spoken to you for about yeah, almost an hour. Yeah, 50 minutes. That's good. Okay, bye class. God bless you. Keep smiling. Again, a big smile. We start with a smile, we close with a smile. Stay strong, stay happy. Don't be worried, because they say when you're worried and sad, immunity becomes low. And this time, immunity is the biggest thing that can help us. It's a very strange situation. It's the virus is not like something like as dangerous as the plague, yet it is dangerous. Yet it is dangerous. It's a very strange, funny situation. So all of you, keep your immunity up, stay strong, stay healthy, stay happy, God bless you. We are all in it together. Unity is strength. Bye then. Jai Hind. Jai Karnataka.